Welcome back to another episode of Within Our Reach. I'm your host, Garnell. Today we got a lovely guest, Miss Kim Prada. Kim is a business owner, entrepreneur, mother, and so much more. So without further ado, we'll just get right into it. So first off, thank you, Kim, for coming by. We appreciate having you on the show.
No problem.
On our second episode. So Kim, tell people a little bit about yourself in terms of your what do you do, right? What business do you run?
So I run Tribe Power Bites LLC. My goal within the business is to promote healthier snacking alternatives, and they are nut butter based. And it's just to promote and adapt to the busy and modern society that we live in. And it's just an easier grab and go convenient snack.
Okay, cool. Now, how did Tribe Power Bites come to be? Tell us a little bit of that backstory.
Okay, so Tribe, it came to be after I gave birth to my daughter. I was a stay-at-home mom, and after you have a child, you're just very hungry, and you just want to eat sweets all the time. Well, at least for me,
I'm hungry now. So
I just wanted to eat sweets all the time, and I just felt like that there had to be a better snacking alternative than just eating ice cream and like chips and stuff, and something that wasn't gonna draw my energy very low. So then I came up with the Power Bites, and I just made them for myself. But then my mom, she was having this bake sale at her church, and she just said, "Oh, like let's just try it out. Let's sell them and see how it goes." After that, they did sell out, and then my mom, she was just like, "We need more, like, or they want more." And I was just like, "Oh, okay, then I'm just gonna continue making these." I didn't think anything of it. I didn't know it was gonna just explode after that, because everything's just word to mouth. But since then, that's how it came about, and that was in 2018.
So you made them for yourself because you realized, listen, I got to eat something healthier than how I've been eating, right? Yeah. So you created this. Your mom, I assume she had some, and she decided, listen, we're gonna bring it to a bake sale. Beautiful. Now, at what point did you realize, listen, I'm gonna make this into a business? Like, wait, maybe I have something here.
Yeah.
Was it when they sold out?
It wasn't right after they sold out. I think maybe like a week later I was considering it, because I was also living with roommates at the time, and they had tried out the product as well. Yeah. And they even said, they acknowledged it. They're like, "Oh my gosh, like this is really good." Me, I'm tired. I mean, I just had a baby, so I'm just like, oh, like I don't want to really do much about it. I just want to focus on my daughter and just the postpartumness about it. And then I also thought, I was just like, this could be a way to add on to our finances and just help out. I did try to do it afterwards, but then I stopped when Mia was 6 months because it was just too overwhelming. And afterwards, I picked back up when she turned 11 months, and then I was like, I want to pick this back up because I really like what it's doing. So
it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell the viewers a little bit about what was life for you like prior to Tribe. Like, what were you doing?
Okay, prior to Tribe, even prior to having a baby, I was working at a restaurant. I was just a server. And even before that, I went to college for like one semester, and it was not for me. I ended up being pregnant, but I was very happy that I got pregnant because I was like, this is my key to get out of here. Like, now I could just focus on my baby and stay home. Right. But afterwards, I just remember having the customer service job, and then I had my daughter, and then just became a stay-at-home mom afterwards. But I just knew school was definitely not for me at all. Really? So
knowing that school is not for you, did you know that prior to going to school?
I did know. I definitely knew. Like, I left high school, and everyone was doing college, so I was just like, oh, I'm going to take a year off and see where this goes. Maybe I can figure out what I want to do. In reality, I didn't know what I wanted to do. But my mom, she kept asking me, like, when are you going to go to school? And I felt that pressure where it's like, okay, I'm just going to try it out and see where it goes. I ended up just doing one semester. I failed one class, which was math. Yeah. And after that, I was just like, you know what, school is just definitely not for me. I feel very miserable and just not happy here. And that's what they show us, like, oh, you got to go to school right after high school and stuff. And I feel like it was just too much and overwhelming, but we don't talk about how overwhelming that transition is for sure.
For sure. So tell us a little bit before that, right? So we're talking college now. Let's go back. How was your childhood? What did you want to be in your childhood, and kind of like how were you raised?
I mean, as a child, I do know that I wanted to be like a doctor or like just what
Me
we
too.
learn.
I thought I was gonna be a lawyer.
What we
I swear.
learn as we're growing up. But I definitely came from a struggled background. My mom, she was a single mom of 4. I'm the youngest of 4, and I just remember that times were very hard for us, but we kind of made a way through. We enjoyed our company with each other, but it didn't really get too much better financially until like I got to high school, maybe middle school. That was a little bit better for us for sure, but there was just a lot of struggle too.
So how would you say growing up like that? You said there was a lot of struggling. First off, did you realize at the time that this is struggle, or was it just like, this is what I know, this is all I know?
It seemed normal to me, just because I was raised into it.
Yeah.
So I was just like, oh, like I'm accustomed to this. Like this is what life is. Until I had other friends that they didn't struggle as much as I did, and I kind of compared myself. But as a kid, it's just like, you know, you just don't know. You just say things, and I'm like, oh, well, my mom or my friend has 2 parents. Where are my 2 parents? Or they have a house. I don't have a house, so what is that? Or I have to take the bus to school, and then their parents have to bring them to school. So I really did compare that. I didn't realize that until I got older, obviously, but I mean, as a kid, you just don't know. I was already raised into it, so it was kind of normal, and I made it normal.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. Now, you being raised like that in the struggle or going through what you went through, how do you feel like that affects you to this day? And is there any benefits or disadvantages to that?
Growing up, there was disadvantages. Like I kind of feel like it caused me a lot of anxiety and just depression, and mainly because I just didn't have the knowledge about it. I was like, why are we always struggling? Why is this happening? But now that I'm older and I have my own child, this is where it ends with me, like the generational cycle and having financial freedom. And I feel like that benefits me a lot. Like if I didn't go through that, it definitely wouldn't have formed me into the person that I am now and the mother that I am now. And I'm just very glad that I can give that to my daughter with all these lessons that are learned from it.
Yeah, wow. Yeah. Okay, all right. So now we'll fast forward again. So now you said you went to school, you end up getting pregnant. How did you feel, and kind of what happened from there?
Feeling wise, at first I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like I'm pregnant. I'm 19 and pregnant. I fit the statistic. Obviously, I didn't go to school. Like it was all the generational things that I saw, like with my mom and like her mom. So I fit that category, but then I wanted to make the best of it. At first, I wasn't like too happy because I was just like, now I'm gonna have to work a lot. I didn't go to school. I don't have something to fall back on. But then me and her father, we had agreed that he would be the worker and I would stay home, which it helped a lot. It definitely helped, and it saved us a lot of money as well. But moving forward from that, I just wanted to see what my options were. And when that happened, like the bake sale and stuff, I was like, okay, maybe I am onto something. Even though I don't have the knowledge I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be self-taught and just learn what I'm gonna be doing with this. So.
Did you have anybody in your life, family members, anybody that ran a business or anybody that kind of inspired you, or was it something that you were able to just figure out?
For that time being, I will say that my inspiration was Mia, my daughter, for sure. She inspired me the most because even though I didn't know all this stuff within the entrepreneurship field, I just knew that I had solely one purpose, and it was her.
You had to figure it out.
Yeah, I had to figure it out.
Yeah.
But I did know an entrepreneur. My dad, he actually was a mechanic and a self-taught mechanic at that.
Oh, really?
But and later in life, that's when I re-met him not too long ago too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. So Kim, tell me about that time period, right? So you're starting your business. How was life like for you, and what happened?
So during that time when I started it, I was in a roommate situation. There was 6 of us living in a 2-bedroom apartment, and also including my daughter. Eventually, some of our roommates...
6 people in a 2-bedroom apartment?
Yeah.
Hey.
So eventually, we ended up going our separate ways, and
You and her father, or you and your roommates?
No, some of my roommates, they went their separate ways, but then me and my daughter's father, we went separate ways. We had agreed to the co-parenting partnership, and I ended up back at my mom's house with no money, no car, no job, a baby. It was a very dark time for me, for sure. It was like one of the lowest times that I can remember in my lifetime. And I just remember being at such a low point that I didn't see any hope coming out of that. And that's when I really was focusing on the business, even though I'm just like, I don't have any money to start it. I don't know what to do. Like, and I was just keeping the product in Ziploc bags because I just didn't know what to do with it. Oh my gosh, I have something in my eye.
So was in that time was, you know, when you didn't have no money, no car, you're moving back in your parents' house. Did you ever entertain like, let me just go back to college, or let me just do that, or did you know that like, I gotta make this thing work? Or
everyone around me was saying like, oh, you can just do a program or something very quickly that can get you to there. But I didn't want to be a nurse. I didn't want to do construction. I didn't want to do any of those things. I just wanted to do life on my terms. And I feel like why the entrepreneurship field worked so well with that is because I can balance being a mom and then also setting my schedule and doing all these things that I didn't have the privilege to. Like, I didn't have money to put my daughter in daycare and all these other extraness. But the entrepreneurship life, it just really fit well with what I wanted to. And I went a long time just being lost and not knowing what I wanted to do. And I just knew school wasn't for me. I wasn't going to go back. Like, I definitely did not want to go back. So I didn't even think about it. I just was like, I have to make this work. No matter what it is, I'm just going to have to learn on my own and just YouTube things and just do all these extra research on it.
Ask questions or figure it out however you can, right? YouTube University, right? That's a lot of our school that we go to. So, okay, you move back into your mom's house. What is life like for you? And how was that transition? And tell me how you got out of it.
Moving into my mom's house, it was definitely a tough time for everyone. Like, I knew that she wanted to help out, which I definitely understand, but I didn't want it to be like my forever. I didn't want to have a space that wasn't my own. And it really humbled me to go back because I did move out when I was 18, and you know, it did make her feel sad. She's just like, you know what, you want to make your life, then just go move out. And then it really humbled me more because I'm like, now I'm back at my mom's and I'm like, please take me back. Please take me back. So it was a 2-bedroom, but now there's 4 of us in there. So it's a similar situation too. And there's not much privacy. But I remember that my only vision and my only focus was to just make money, get my name out there, and just leave. I was there for about 1.5 years, maybe to 2 years. And then recently I did get enough income within my business and like other income to have my own place. So I am really happy that I'm able to have that.
Congrats.
Now. Thank
you.
You.
Now, in that time where you're moving back there, I imagine, I mean, were you ashamed? Were you sad? How did you feel about the thought that you just came from an apartment situation and now you're going back to mom's?
Yeah, I did feel, I guess the word could be ashamed. I did feel very low. I felt very depressed because when you have a child and like when you go through all this with the child, you're envisioning that you're going to be with someone for a long time when you have their child. But that's not always how it is. Like, it's not like the movies.
It's not like TV and movies. Yeah.
But that's what I grew up thinking. I'm like, okay, I came from a broken home. Like, now I'm going to have an established home. But it's not like that at all. And not so that it's a broken home now, but it's not the same as what I had envisioned it to be. But I did feel very depressed and low for a long time. And it still comes up like here and there, but I'm able to manage it way more. But I was kind of embarrassed for sure.
Did you, so when you're in these like these low moments, that we'd call them, right? Especially like moving back in with your mom, what do you do that carries you through, or what thoughts, or like how do you take yourself up out of that?
From that time, I was in therapy. I still am in therapy. I knew that I needed to seek help because I wasn't going to be able to do it on my own. I tried to heal on my own. I tried to get out of this depression and anxiety on my own, and it just didn't work. Like, it would work maybe for a week, and then I would be back down again. And I'm like, how can I get out of this black hole? Like, I need help. And I felt like I was just drowning and suffocating in this depression. But I would say podcasts definitely helped me. reading helped me a lot. At that time, I was very, very strong into like religion, so that helped me a lot. Meditating, mainly my daughter. She saved me for sure. I would say I definitely need her way more than she needs me, and it's just a beautiful sight to see for sure.
You mentioned therapy, so real quickly, let's touch on that. What did therapy provide for you that you doing it your own didn't provide for you?
Therapy provided a safe place for me. I felt like within my own thoughts, I was just constantly at war within myself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, in my mind, I know that I like was struggling, but then the negative side of my mind's like, oh, like you need to do better. So it was just like going back and forth with myself, and I felt like I was just going crazy. So going into therapy, you have someone who isn't biased. It's just someone who is really passionate of healing others and hearing out your story, and it just felt like home to me. It felt like a secure, stable, just space where I could just be myself and let all my emotions out, as opposed to just me bottling them up, because the society I guess we live in, sometimes they just diminish our emotions, and it's hard for us to speak out on it too.
Yeah, therapy is huge. I definitely advise people to go to therapy and talk to somebody, because oftentimes it can do for you what you struggle to do, right? If you had all the answers, then it wouldn't be difficult.
Yeah, that is true.
Okay, so now you're at your mom's house, you're there, you now you're working to get yourself out of there. So talk more about how you were able to, how were you able to afford to get out of there, and how were you able to just withstand being there?
So I want to say when my daughter, she turned a year old, it was much easier for her not to be so attached to me in a sense. I was breastfeeding her, and now it was easier for her to go with her dad. So we had planned out my work schedule. So I was looking for a part-time job. I ended up working at a hair salon. It wasn't like great pay, but I had a vision. I'm like, Kim, this is going to come with sacrifices. Like I have to do it, even though I'm not going to make as much. But I just didn't want to make myself feel miserable about like having to work. I just knew that long term, like your goal is to get out, and that's what kept me just strong within the whole process of it. So I was working part-time. Then COVID happened, so I didn't work there too long.
Yeah.
I think I worked there for like 6 months. So then I was feeling up here, and then I went back down feeling like this because I'm like, oh, I saved all this little money that I gained from this job.
Saved all this
and
little
now
money.
they closed. Yeah, and I'm like, now you guys closed, and I'm like, now what am I gonna do? Like that is when I reevaluated myself, and I just went all in on the business. Like I went really hard and just focused on it, and I even like rebranded. I got all the licensing. I was taking it to like another level of seriousness too.
And what do you think aided you in that? So you said you went all into business. Like, what does that look like? Is that you did say branding, you said licensing. I mean, are you investing your own money? Education. What does that look like?
So what that looks like for me is I'm investing in myself and the business. So rebranding. I had a different name before.
Which was what? Tell people what was the name?
It was just Kim's Energy Balls. Like it wasn't like all crazy. It was very basic. It didn't even have as much significance for me because that was the first thing that came to mind. I'm like, I'm just gonna name this like whatever. I don't know how far this is gonna go. I can just remove it anytime. But then when I was rebranding, I wanted to manifest like a name that was gonna stick, like a name that was gonna mean truly something to me. And especially during the COVID times, and I think pretty much for everyone with the small businesses, there was a lot of love and a lot of support during the COVID times. And I didn't even picture, I didn't even know that it was going to happen, but a lot of people started supporting me. They knew that I was a mom. They knew that I was a single mom and that they wanted to help out. And after that, it just blew up from there. Like I received so much love, and I knew that I wanted to name it Tribe because I felt like I was receiving a community like atmosphere that felt like tribe, and it just felt like home to me.
Hence the word tribe, right?
Tribe, yeah.
Because everybody kind of supported you when you felt like you needed it, or when you were trying to do something.
Yeah, and I just wanted to feel, I don't know, like home. I just wanted to feel just like somebody cared about me, and I feel like it's deeper than that. It's very deep.
And it's so deep too because you're talking about, I mean, we talked about your childhood and kind of feeling struggle and feeling like, and despite all you kind of had to fall back on was the fact that there were so many of you,
Yeah.
like in this house, and then you talked about moving into a roommate situation. Once again, so many people. You know, you have your child's father, and you know that kind of it tapers off, and it doesn't pan out. So it's just like for you to name a tribe to feel home, like it's like almost like what it seems like at least is that it's like the first time where you probably felt good at like home. This is
and
crazy.
that's what makes me really just humbly happy about it, because again, there was just always chaos in my life. It was just very chaotic all the time. I wasn't really able to think for myself, or like I didn't have much of my own identity. Like I was always relying on people, and I think that comes with me being the youngest, but also just being dependent, like not having your own. And then when I came up with the name Tribe, I was just like, wow, like it feels peaceful. Like the name just flows. I feel peace at my heart. I feel peace within these people. Like these people are carrying me on their backs and they don't even know me. And that to me, it touched me just so immensely, and I couldn't even fathom it. It was just so crazy that so many people were supporting me and they didn't even know who I was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was beautiful, very beautiful.
So Kim, let's talk more about you. You originally named your business Kim's Energy Balls, right?
Yeah.
And you just ran with it, right? Even though that may have not been the name that you were gonna go forth with for a long time.
Yeah,
it's so big to
definitely.
me because I remember like starting my business. I mean, for literal years, I sat down and I thought like, yo, I need the perfect name. I need the perfect name. It has to represent me, and it has to be like a cool name. And I thought that was so big in terms of starting a business. Like I need a name. I don't want to have to change it later. But you kind of did the opposite, and you kind of did. You led with action instead of worrying about the. And what I find is that we tend to focus on the small things as another way of not getting started or not doing stuff. We're too focused on, you know, the name has to be right. I have to have all my labeling and everything has to be perfect for me to get started with. In reality, that's not how it goes. So talk about that. Why'd you just go with Kim's Energy Balls and just rock with it?
Because I knew that my product was going to speak for itself. I knew that the name was just a name. Like once I figured it out, then that's it. Like it's a wrap. It's going to get better. But I knew that my product was just, it was way more than what the name could be. So I was just like, okay, like even though the name is not so attractive or flashy, the product is going to outshine that anyway. So I think that was kind of like a good tactic that drew a lot of more people in. They're like, oh, like this is the name of it, which it probably doesn't stick, but the product is phenomenal. So I'm just going to rock with that. So
And you can change the name later.
I did
You can
change the
always
name.
change the name.
I didn't change. I changed it pretty like maybe a year later, and the name just it came to mind. I didn't think about it. I just remember like Googling like how I felt. I'm like, okay, like what does try me like it's
What is
crazy.
happy?
I was just Googling my feelings.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, like tribe, like that is definitely
It encompasses
the
everything.
name.
It
Yeah.
embodies everything.
It was great. Definitely great.
Wow. Okay. So you did a rebrand. You invested all your money. You really doubled down right now. And what year is that you would say?
This was 2020.
This is 2020.
2020. Yeah.
So yeah, let's talk about 2020. Like you're running a business or you're doubling down in a business in a pandemic. Like, what are you thinking? And kind of how does that unfold?
It was very risky because I think it was in March. That's when everything started. That's when I lost my job.
March 10th, I think, maybe?
I think it was the 12th. Yeah, around that time.
Something like that.
It was a horrible, horrible time at the time. And I was just like, what's going to happen? Like, what do I do? Because even at that time when I was working at the salon, I was more focused on that. And I was just like thinking of a career. So I was like, oh, maybe I'll be like a hairstylist, like something not entrepreneurship like, because I just didn't know. Then the pandemic happened and I was like, I have to take my business and I have to like run with it. So many people were losing business. So many people were struggling. And not that I wanted to take that away from people, because I was just like, I have my business, but people are putting their money into it and not a lot of people have money. But to be honest with you, it was one of my elite years. Like it was very great for me. So many people supported, so much love pouring onto Tribe. It was overall just a great experience. Then I got the licensing, I got the rebranding, the little money that I did make with the hair salon, I just invested it into the licensing because I wanted it to be more official. Like this is the time where I felt like I can do this. Like, I believe in myself. And this is the first time with anything in my entire life that I feel like I'm super confident in. Like, I know it, and I know that I can be great with it. So it was a great year. It really was.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Yeah, it was really good.
That's phenomenal. That's great. Okay, so you reinvested, doubled down, 2020. Why do you feel like you were successful in 2020? Right, because you said it allowed you to move out of your mom's house and into your own place. What made you so successful?
Definitely me taking like the initiative steps that I needed for the business, like marketing or like networking, doing like vending events, or just getting out there and talking to other people like me, like other small businesses, and just talking to them about my product, but also building that relationship and that connection. And I feel like that's what made me more successful, was just not only selling my product, but also just building that connection and that foundation with my customers. Like, it wasn't just about the great product that I was giving them, but it was also checking in on them. And I feel like a lot of us don't get that as much, like the check-ins from other people that we want, especially. And when I would do that, I felt that they really saw that I cared about them. Genuinely, I really cared about them. I would ask them about how they're doing mentally, their family, and you could just see it like in their eyes that they were just mesmerized that I was actually building this connection with them, and it was great.
It seems like it's right on brand. I mean, it seems like you're completely about, and your business is about just making people feel good, right? And just sharing that moment and making people feel good. So the fact that they're getting something beyond the product, because I think a lot of people, small businesses, primarily, when you think about it, it's like oftentimes they might have a good product or good service, or a good product or service. However, oftentimes the customer service part of it is lacking, right? And you're dealing with the attitudes, or you're dealing with things, and it's not memorable, and it's not a great experience for people. So oftentimes people don't patronize the business again.
And it's true. It definitely, customer service is essential. Like, if you're doing your own business, the customer service has to be top notch. Like, it really has. And I learned that because all of my jobs were always in customer service. And that's how I really fell in love with humanity and just connecting with people, because you would see how happy people would get with you just being nice to them and just you smiling. Like, that's it. You don't have to have like a stank face all the time, or you don't have to have like negative energy. And you get the energy that draws onto you. Like, if you're a great go-lucky person, you're gonna get that energy towards you. And if you're negative and just down all the time, that's what you're gonna receive as well. And that, coming with Tribe, it was just phenomenal that I took my customer service and just took it to the next level. And that's why I feel people keep coming back, mainly for the product, yes, but also because they're connecting with me, someone who actually cares about them.
Wow. So my company, AYM Multimedia, we ran a competition, a giveaway, you would say, right? A few months back, when we were just starting our Instagram up, and we actually selected you and Tribe to be the winner of the giveaway. And the thing that stood out, first and foremost, I just want to thank you, everybody who did partake in the giveaway. That was phenomenal. But what stood out to us about you was you were able to build this brand, and it seemed like you were giving it your all, right? Whether you had the best website or not, whether you had the best branding or whatever it may have been, one thing that I could see for sure was you had this ability to be open and vulnerable with people. You would share stories from, I remember one in particular, it was like you were mentioning how you were doing like DoorDash and Uber Eats and so on and so forth, while your daughter's in the car with you, just to make ends meet and kind of to put yourself ahead. And just talk a little bit about, like, what does that vulnerability mean, or why are you even doing that to begin with?
I feel that the reason why I'm so vulnerable and open, I just realized that that's how we can really connect with each other. Growing up, I was able to express my emotions, but they weren't as acknowledged as I would have liked them to be. I didn't realize that until I got older and I started like my healing journey. Once like me and my daughter's father, we separated, I was at a very low point, and I just wanted to feel loved. I wanted to feel all the feelings that I had, but not be ashamed of it. And I feel like living in this society, like it's mostly like, or our generation, it's like, okay, you have these feelings, but we can't really express them, or they're taken out of like different content. And
Yeah.
I feel like when I post this vulnerability, I receive a lot of good feedback from it. Like people are like, oh, I never got to speak to other people about how I feel, and you doing that really makes my day, or makes me really happy. And it just brings me so much joy, so much love, because it makes me not feel so alone. And I feel like growing up, I always did feel really alone and trying to connect with people and trying to fit in. And I think this is truly more of my purpose, just being vulnerable and just saying, hey, like, this is me. I submit myself. I surrender. Like, this is really, it's the raw truth. And people are way more accepting to that than all the other stuff that we see on social media. Yeah.
And vulnerability builds connection,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Being transparent, being open, and being a human. I think that's the biggest thing, is like
Being human,
we get caught up in the IGs and maybe even Facebook where it's this, it's this heavy editing, filters, and which is fine, but it's easy for us to not be able to disassociate that with like real life.
Yeah.
And that's one reason why I love Snapchat almost more than Instagram, right?
Yeah.
Because I love that. And even though there's still filters, I love that raw, that like it's happening in the moment, this less curated content.
Yeah.
And brands, I think, especially right now, it's vital that they create content that actually connects to their audience at their level.
And I think that's what we all really want. We just want connection, even though some of us don't want to admit it. I would say that for sure. Like, I just want to connect with somebody, and whether it's on a platonic way or a romantic way, it's just like, that's who we are. I think that's who we're destined to be. That's why we're here, just to connect with each other and build that village.
Yeah.
And I feel personally that although like my content on my social media I try to be as real as possible, I still don't think like social media is real life, which is why I try to stray away from it or take these social media breaks, because I feel like I get so depleted like when I'm on there, or I compare myself. I definitely compare myself, and then I'm like, oh, like, Kim, you can work out and be like that, or you can do your makeup like that. And I'm just like, when I step out of it, I come to reality. I'm like, I can't do that. Like, I don't have time to do all these things, or I don't make enough time to do these things. But then it makes me just feel more human and just normal, like how we're supposed to be.
And there's a lot of people that struggle with it.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
Talking to family, talking to friends. Some people just really struggle with being vulnerable. But I'm thinking like vulnerability is so important, y'all, in so many facets, whether you're running a business or not. I mean, think about it even on a similar form of like, even in animals, right? If you see a dog that you don't know, the best way to get that dog to like you or to maneuver is to be vulnerable, to go down to its level, to let him smell you. It's kind of like that. You have, because that builds a connection, right? Otherwise, he's gonna be on guard, or you're gonna be on guard constantly until you realize. But you have to be vulnerable to a degree. You don't have to be foolish, but you definitely have to be vulnerable. So I think that's huge, and I'm happy that that we touched on that.
Yeah, definitely.
That's great. So so back to the story. We're in 2020. Talk about how well you've done in 2020. Like,
the ending of it was just the cherry on top for sure. I had made enough income to obtain my own place, which that was the goal. The ultimate goal in the end of this was, I want to have my own place. I want to have something that me and my daughter have for ourselves. And just knowing that I did that because I put the work in and the hustle, it's just like, wow, like I can't believe I did that. So I moved not too long ago, like a month ago. And it has been, thank you, it has been just nothing but peaceful vibes, just nothing but waking up. And I even actually, sometimes in the night, I'll just wake up to get some water or something. And I look around and I'm like, I can't believe like this is mine. I just can't fathom it. And I've genuinely been happy every single day since I've moved there. It just, I don't know. It's just a feeling that I can't explain at all. It's genuine happiness, and I don't know. I don't even know how to say it more. Like,
what would you say is some of the biggest lessons you've learned in life over the last year or two?
Definitely patience, and also just focusing on the bigger picture, like just not this small picture when it's a huge canvas. I think that's what I used to think, that oh, I'm just here and I'm going to stay stuck here. But that came with my negative thinking. Overall, when I started evolving within my mindset, it made me just look at the whole canvas, and I'm just like, Kim, you're just not going to stay here. Like, you're going to grow into so much more. You just have to have consistency and just definitely self-discipline within what your vision is. Like, what is it that you want? That's what I tell myself all the time. Like, I'll look in the mirror and I'll just say, Kim, what do you want? Like, what is it that you want? And if you want that, you take it and you run with it. And if you fail at it, then you're just going to keep going no matter what, because that's what's going to come with life. Like, life is going to come with rejection. It's going to come with triumph. It's going to come with so much things. And you just have to focus on your purpose and what you really want to do. And I feel like that's a lot of lessons that I've learned within the last year or so. Just being patient and just focusing on the bigger picture, focusing on why you started. Like, what is your why?
And it's like a balance thing, right? Because you have to acknowledge where you're at, right? So it's step by step. So building a wall, you have to build it brick by brick, correct? But at the same time, you got to be able to see the entire wall in your head. Even if it's not your reality right now, you have to be able to. So it's like this weird balance. So it's like if you're walking to a destination and you get off track by like 4 or 5 steps, you're not gonna cry. You're not gonna get too caught up in the fact that I took 4 steps off the trail. You're just gonna get back on the trail. And in life, I feel like sometimes we're too focused on the right now, and you do have to focus on it, but to a degree. Because if you're too focused on the small mishaps, then you're gonna be deterred from actually trying to pursue something that's greater, and it's gonna knock you off your path.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. And even being humble too, I think even within my own experience, sometimes I would become like a bit prideful or like ego driven, like, oh, I can do this on my own, like I can do all of this myself. And then in the end, I needed help. Like, I needed to move back with my mom. I needed to live there as long as I did so that I can rack up and move out. I needed these things, and I didn't realize it at the time. Like, I was just very ego driven. I was just like, no, like, I'm independent. It's like I was trying to prove myself, and I didn't have to. And then once it was closer to the time of me moving out, I became just so vulnerable, so humble. Like, any little thing I was just super grateful for.
Gratitude.
And it's so crazy. And that has just molded and built my character. And I think that that's just what creates me now, just being humble and just gratitude and just remembering where you came from. Like, all this stuff that I have now, it didn't just come out of nowhere. Like, I really worked and cried so much, was depressed for so much. And in the end, I just feel like I was recognized, like, by God or whomever, like, and I was rewarded for my hard work. And I think that's what happens. Like, if you work hard, you're gonna get it.
Like you were saying, though, I think you have to allow grace for yourself and for other people too, because you have to understand you can't learn if you feel like you know everything, right? If I feel like I understand or I get everything already, then my ears aren't open because I feel like I know. So and we all need to kind of have that humbling experience of like, I thought I knew this, or I thought I was good, or I could do it on my own. And then life always has a way of kind of knocking you back and showing you, like, listen, you need to learn right now. You don't know everything.
Others,
and it can come from anywhere. It can come from a kid. It can come from a life experience. It can come from anywhere. So I think it's huge that we definitely allow grace for ourselves. Like, we're not perfect, and it's okay to not be perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
Because for me in business, and I want to know if it's the same for you, it's like, sometimes it's tough.
It is.
Even mentally. You know, there's times where I'm literally having success. There's times where I'm literally making money and things are technically looking up, but I don't feel up.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely.
I don't want to, reach out today. I don't want to network. And I love connecting with people, but there's a part of me that's just human that sometimes I just don't. Sometimes you just want to relax or you get overwhelmed, and even in success. So it's not this, I think people get it wrong and we see it on TV. It's like, once you start going up, it's up. But in reality, it's like, it's here. It's, it's like a heart monitor.
It's tiring for sure. And me touching on that, there are days like where I just wake up and I don't want to do anything. I just feel I don't know, anxious, or I still feel these things. Like, they haven't gone away completely. And that's
depression comes.
It still comes no matter how successful I have it. And it's crazy because we want all these things, and then when we get it, we think that it's gonna suppress it all. And I'm like, I thought I was gonna be happy when I got all this money, and I'm like, no, money can't buy happiness. And I still feel this way sometimes. I remember just going through a period before me setting like my time frames that I would just work nonstop. I would make orders nonstop. I didn't even take time for myself, barely time just to try to actually connect with my daughter. I would give her like connection, but I felt like it wasn't enough because I was not really present. I was just very tired. I was just there.
Just going through the motions.
Yeah, going through the motions. And I feel that it's just inevitable to avoid like just being always successful, always happy, always high, and you're gonna get your lows and you're gonna get your highs, and it just makes us more human and just realistic. It's just really realistic.
Yeah. So to touch on that, or we'll go here next. What I want to talk about is you're a female, or a woman actually. I don't even love the word female, but you're a woman entrepreneur. Let's talk about that. How has that experience been for you? Have you noticed anything?
Yeah. I feel that being a female entrepreneur or a woman entrepreneur, it's just very powerful. It's very liberating because you see most of the entrepreneurs in this life are males, and I feel like that separates me. Like, I'm not just anyone. Like, I'm a female. Like, I'm a boss. Like, and I'm balancing all these things. And even within like connecting with other entrepreneurs, that could be guys or women, it's just more, you get more respected, and I think it's because we don't really see that too much in our society. So I just feel like it's very liberating, very powerful, and I'm just proud to be a woman and to be an entrepreneur.
Do you feel like you get more or less respect because of being a woman, or does it vary?
I think it varies for sure. Like, you'll have the people that they respect you, like you're doing your own thing, and you're young, and you're a mom, and you're a woman, and then you have like the other people
don't take it seriously.
They don't take it serious.
Like,
no, they're like, oh, like she's not serious. Like, she's not gonna last here long. And I'm like, watch, like just watch out.
You gonna see, right?
Yeah. So I really move in silence. That's like my main thing. I just don't really say anything. I just whatever. Like.
And then any words that you might want to share for maybe a woman or a mother who is in business or just trying to figure out life, and not even so much as a woman, but like it could be. But just somebody right now who's kind of like going through it. They're in a rock and a hard place, and they're kind of looking for some guidance out of their hole.
Yeah, I would say for sure, focus on your passion. Like, if you're very passionate of something, allow that to consume you and allow that to take you to places that you never thought that you were gonna go. At least for me, that's what I felt like. I was passionate about trying to eat healthier or just snack better. And I took the opportunities that were there. I was definitely fearful, but I took it and I just went with it. And I feel like that's what most of us should do. Like, we should just take whatever opportunities unfold and then just see where it goes. Like, me personally, I would always give up before even starting, or because I would see like, oh, it's not progressing right away, I'm just gonna give up.
Yeah.
But now what I can definitely say is, you see something like a little seed, what does the seed turn into? It turns into a plant over time. Like, it grows, and I feel like that is the same thing. It resonates with me, and it can resonate with other people. Just take that little seed and just let it grow, no matter if it's going to take a long time or it's just not happening right away. Just be consistent, be passionate, just be consistent. Yeah. And that's what I believe for sure.
So I love it because one thing that I know for me, especially once I stopped playing football, like, or trying to pursue a professional career, is like, I wasn't consistent with anything. Like, it was such a struggle for me, and something that I'm still working with daily, to be consistent. And I'm not just talking about a day or two or a week. I'm talking about day after day, month, 2 months, 3 months, so on and so forth, of being consistent. Because I get it all the time. I have clients, I mention them a video. I'm like, hey, we should do this, X, Y, and Z, or you should make a video like this. And they're like, I don't want to be on camera. I suck, or I'm not really good. I hate my voice and stuff like that. And it's just like, yeah, you suck. That's okay. Yeah. We all suck when we start something, right? Most of us don't pick up the basketball the first time and just start making all of our shots. Nobody does it actually. So it's just like, it's okay to suck, but you got to do it, and that's how you get better. Most things that you do the first time you get on the bike, you're gonna fall, and it's okay. But be consistent and understand, and like I said, allow grace, because it's not a cakewalk. No matter how wealthy you are, whatever it is, you get on the bike the first time, you're gonna fall, just like the rest of us, unless somebody's holding you up. So I think that's huge. With that being said, I mean, is there anything else that you want to say in kind of wrapping things up?
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I will present my product right here.
Oh, we was gonna get to it.
Oh, yeah?
We was gonna get to it. So,
I will say, just be consistent. Be hopeful. Be all these things that you tell yourself that you can't be. That's definitely what I will pinpoint.
believe in yourself.
Yeah, like it's always crazy where you start off and then where you end off. Like that to me
nuts.
is what I think about all the time. Like all the time.
Appreciate you, Kim, for coming by. So tell people, where can they get Tribe Power Bites?
So I did just update my website. I made a new website not that long ago that you can place your order through and send your form of payment. My website is www.tribepowerbites.com. And then also I have Instagram. I do have Tribe on there. It's Vibe with Tribe _ and then I have Facebook where it's under Tribe Power Bites LLC. And if you want to follow my personal page, because I do put a lot of content there of my personal and my tribe life, it's going to be The Resilient Prada, and that is it. I could be contacted through email, social media, and the website, or by phone.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I just want to say we thank you and we appreciate everybody who's tuning in. I want to shout out to Kim for coming by and kind of telling her story. And I'm super grateful of that. So everybody, thank you for tuning in to Within Our Reach. This has been a phenomenal episode. We wish you well and we hope to see you on the next episode. You guys
Bye,
take care.
See you soon.